2, 3, 4, the hardest part of the ring. Hey, it's the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you get trapped in a headlock and you're worried about smearing your lip gloss. Shoot her off and take a shoulder block. Go a leapfrog and give her a hip toss. It's the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Now double claps. Here we go, Bob Squad. I forgot to do the episode. That's why it's late. I just flat out forgot. I knew I was missing something every time I hit the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da. Whoa. Yeah. What is going on, Bob Squad? Pardon me. I was just having some Diet Pepsi. No more regular soda. That went away a long time ago. Diet only. Diet Pepsi is my favorite. It tastes just like regular Pepsi. You can go to Pepsi.com right now. Enter the promo code BOBSQUAD. You know what happens? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Pardon me. I'm banging my notebook against my knee. What am I talking about right now? I was not ready to hit record. Okie dokie. We were talking about Monday Night Raw, the Hulu edition. The Hulu edition, WWE Monday Night Raw, with not limited enough commercial interruption. And it's a new year. So we start the show the same way we've always started. With Hulk Hogan slamming onto the Giant. And I must say, it was impressive. It certainly was. I wonder, I'm not going to go look at it. Maybe at some point I will. If I watch WrestleMania 3 on the Peacock Network, if they still do a signature at the beginning, that's the modern one. Does WrestleMania 3 open and close with Hulk Hogan slamming onto the Giant? I don't know. I don't know the answer. And I don't know a lot of answers about this program we're going to talk about. We open the show with a big long package. We see Brock Lesnar's long, blue-veined, throbbing package about last week, and Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come out for some talking, but they're quickly cut off because I think their segment went a little long last week, but whatever. They're cut off by Bobby Lashley and MVP and the Hurt Business. I think Lesnar tells the Hurt Business. Now, I watched this like a whole day ago. I don't remember what happened. At some point in this show, right behind the curtain, Bobby Lashley tells the Hurt Business guys that they're not the Hurt Business anymore. Which leads me to believe, instead of usually whoever Lashley's feuding with has to wrestle both the Hurt Business for 3-5 weeks, that leads me to believe Lashley's just going to wrestle them for like 5 weeks or whatever the hell it is. Maybe starting right after the Rumble or something. I don't know. So maybe they'll be keeping him busy. Whatever. How does this promo happen? What happened in this? Were they out in the ring or was that last week? I don't know. Oh, yeah. Okay. Brock Lesnar tells a knock-knock joke. I'm not kidding. It was very funny. He says to Paul Heyman, knock-knock. Paul Heyman eventually says who's there. Brock says Bobby. Heyman says Bobby who? And Lesnar says exactly. Very funny, very funny. Lesnar was fun on the mic here. And I like Bobby Lashley, but it doesn't say much when Brock Lesnar shows you up on the mic. Yikes. Lashley is not a great talker. That's what I'm afraid, because they've been treating him like a babyface who's a heel on paper for a while now. And, yeah. So I have to imagine if that's the case, an MVP breaking of ways, parting of ways will happen. And that leaves Lashley with no one to talk for himself but himself. That's not good. Hope they got some good writers. Hope your writers just aren't texting all day. Okay. RK Bro is backstage. So it was a long segment. Yeah, Lesnar and Lashley are still going to wrestle at the Royal Rumble. You know how they agreed to do that? Well, they're still going to do that. Very good. RK Bro, Randy Orton, and Riddle are backstage, and the tag team titles are going to be on the line against Otis and Chad Gable. And Randy Orton writes on Riddle's hands, tag Randy. And then they're in Philadelphia, and it was nice. to see the Raw finally acknowledge the city. And they do with the bigger cities, like Philadelphia makes sense, but whenever they were in South Carolina, they just said we're in South Carolina. Were they in Columbus? Were they in Greenville? Were they in Myrtle Beach? That's it. That's all I got for South Carolina. That wasn't half bad. Most of the country can't even get that far. But they said Philadelphia. And again, Paul Heyman, ECW, he was in Philadelphia, so there's a hometown thing, and they all went bananas. And at this point, it's been so much time, he doesn't even bother with using the word extreme to get a cheap pop in that city anymore. It's been like enough time. I think it's over. A lot of these audience members weren't born when ECW was going out of business. So, yeah, it's refreshing to see everyone move on. I didn't hear one ECW chant. Call me crazy. It's over. Early 2001, so yeah, 21 years. The death of ECW is almost old enough to buy alcohol drinking alcohol in America. I don't know what the age is in other blah 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 blah. We have a tag team title match. Oh yeah, the reason I mentioned they were in Philly, I like not finishing thoughts today. That's my new thing. Riddle asks Orton which cheesesteak place is better, because Philadelphia is famous for its Philadelphia cheesesteaks, as it should be by name. And he asked then just to get a cheap pop from the whole audience, regardless of what side of the fence you were on. He says, which is better, Pat's or Geno's? And Orton says, focus on a blah blah blah, and also Geno's, which is the correct answer. I you know what, honestly, once in 2003 I was there, and my friend, hey man, because that's how he would greet you because he was so high, hey man, he took me to Pat's and Geno's in a row, and we were 23, so I think our stomachs could handle it at the time. And I think we had Pat's first, and Geno's did taste better, but also more disgusting because I had just eaten an entire cheesesteak before eating that cheesesteak. Yay. So really, now they both gross me out. Anyway, RK Bro wrestle Otis and Chad Gable. And we have new WWE Tag Team Champions. Otis and Chad Gable have defeated Riddle and Orton. I think they won clean, pretty much. Otis did his Power Slam thing, which it's Mark Henry's finish, the World's Strongest Slam. He did it on Orton, and he got the 1, 2, 3. So they're really big on Otis. I think they're going to... I don't know, actually. This was a surprise, only because it happened on TV, and they just gave up doing important things on Raw, so... it surprised me. I did not think the tag team titles were going to change. I'm not sure where they're headed. Do Orton and Riddle try to get them back? Orton and Riddle, when that first started, I thought that was going to go on for 3 weeks, and it's been 7, 8, 9 months, something like that at this point. It was shortly after WrestleMania. Should bring us in April, but maybe it was a little long after that. Let's say June. I think it was probably June, because I remember there's a little bit of a build to SummerSlam, and then they won the thing. So whatever, you got 6, 7 months out of the thing. And everyone, they teased the Orton turn. They even had Orton RKO Riddle and just said that was okay. Like, yeah. It was odd. Of course, the big swerve here is, what if the one who's super sweet and passive of the two is the one who actually turns? That's a strange way for a tag team to break up. More on that later. So I'm surprised. And that's the thing. Like, I'm actually less interested in Otis and Chad winning it, and more interested in what happens with RK Bro. I'm imagining a lot of backstage. Of course, they got to be backstage. I'm imagining a lot of segments where Riddle tries to buddy up to Randy, and Randy distances himself from them, and it's kind of sad, and it's supposed to make us go, aw, and Riddle makes a puppy dog face. And maybe Orton has a change of heart here and there, but it's been almost 2 years since they stopped doing this, maybe, I think, but maybe longer. That no more automatic rematch rule, like, hurts the entire, like, all 3 brands. It hurts, like, every championship. You lose the championship, you're entitled, so you lose it in a 3-4 way, you don't get pinned, and you can't get a shot at the title you lost without being beaten. How does it make any sense? To the point, and it's so obvious and ridiculous, that the announcers are also forced to bring it up. Yeah, it's crazy. I know, right? And that's why I think I said this after the day one pay per view. Yeah, Lesnar had to pin Big E. Even if you're a Big E fan, I'm sorry. If you're doing the title change, Lesnar had, and Lesnar's a surprise last minute guy in that match, so he had to win. Anyway, yeah, Lesnar over E was the only finish for that match that you could do. That's it. F5 on Big E, 1, 2, 3 is the only possible finish. And I'm glad it was just one. Like, it doesn't hurt E anyway. They found another way to hurt Big E later on, but interesting to see where this goes, and I don't know where it's going to go, and that's why I perked up a little bit. I do not know what happens to RK Bro. Do they just start? Do they do the old classic Monday Night Raw? Just pretend it never happened, move on, like mention it once, like I don't know. I would love to see Orton chase Riddle for his friendship. Like we never got to see Orton on a scooter, and that kills me. We gotta move on. Bianca Belair is backstage. She has a match coming up later, and she intends to win it. Well, congratulations. Seth Rollins is, he says he's in a great mood because he's going to the Royal Rumble to challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. This segment is not on SmackDown. Why? I don't know. But anyway, Big E comes out to tell Seth Rollins. What did he tell Seth? I don't think he said shit to Seth Rollins. But they talked, and Seth and Becky and Heyman Lesnar. That's three talking segments we have to do. Four, because Miz, Edge. That's four huge talking segments they have to do every week. And Hulu is very. I don't know under whose order this is, but Hulu is all about the promos. Any matches, cold matches, are not priority at all. Matches are never priority. Look at the signature of the show. I noticed this. Back in the day, when you'd see Saturday Night's Main Event is opening or Superstars on a Saturday, whatever. Here's a Saturday Night's Main Event opens. Here's a shot of Hulk Hogan. He's giving someone the big leg or the big boot. Here's a shot of the Ultimate Warrior shaking ropes, and then the next shot. And these are like 1 second shots. There's the Gorilla Slam. Shot of Randy Savage. Big elbow, flying elbow coming at you. Snuka, big splash. You get it. Now it's just shot of the guys or the ladies' entrance. With them doing their pose. Not even in the ring. Just in front of a backdrop. Not someone taking a backdrop, the maneuver. Just a photographic backdrop. Just doing a pose. Person doing a pose. It would take you 30 minutes to figure out this is a wrestling show if you're flipping channels. You didn't know what the hell it was. That's an exaggeration, but you understand. Anyway, what was my point? Big E and Seth Rollins argue over something. I forget what their argument was about. And Big E, the babyface, challenges Seth Rollins, the heel. He does the old, let's not wait, let's do it right here, right now. So the heel accepts the right here, right now challenge. And wait, are you ready to double the dumbness? Are you ready, Mark? I'm talking to you. Big E loses clean. The heel accepts the right now, right here trope, and it's not a bad one. I usually hate these things. They're always bad when they're overdone, but this was fine. Getting there, I don't remember was that bad, except for Seth has to talk for a long time. They all talk for a long time. And you're going to hear me say that again for at least 3 other things in this show. Oh my god. So much talking. Because the tag title match couldn't have been 3 minutes. No, it was a segment. It was longer than that. It was 6, 7 minutes, whatever the hell it was. The heel accepts the right here, right now, and the heel wins clean. I think they had a commercial break in between the match, so it was like a 2-segment deal. Or maybe 3, because they would do the interview and then 2 segs for the match. Which, call me crazy. I think that's why they love Seth. Because you're going to get 3 segments out of the guy, and it's a 3-hour show. We got time to fill. Even if it's not the greatest, or even if he's good at what he does but overstays its welcome, it's still 3 segments to fill on a 3-hour show because USA Network demands 3 hours. Blah, 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 blah. It was a very good match. Not memorable, but it wasn't bad. It was just, I wrote Seth over 1, 2, 3 LOL, and the announcer announced Seth Rollins as the winner of the blah blah blah. Seth freaking Rollins. It's not his name. Okay. When you buy the action figure, when you flip through on the video game, probably I wouldn't know. It doesn't say Seth freaking Rollins on the action figure package. It says Seth Rollins. Idiots. Oh, long talking. Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley are in the ring and they're talking to a blonde lady. The blonde lady finally made it to the ring. She moved on up. So the two of them, who are no longer tag champs, because Nikki keeps getting pinned clean. I just sat on my hand and it fell asleep. This is a problem. They're talking to the blonde lady about their friendship. On the wrestling program, where everyone's competitive, with the Royal Rumble just around the corner. Not really, it's like 3 weeks away. With the Royal Rumble coming up soon enough, and every man or woman for herself, depending on the Royal Rumble match. Oh, I don't remember too much about this, but it was long. Good God. Anyway, Nikki was talking about their friendship, and she was accusing Rhea of thinking she was better than her. And Rhea said it's not true, but then Rhea was patient at that. And this was actually well done by them. They did the very best they could do, and it was very much more realistic for Rhea to be patient with her friend and even try to tell her, let's not do this out here at the beginning. But then her patience was tried, and then once she was disrespected, that's when she got upset. So that, at least it protected Rhea's character to a degree up until a point. And then finally they agree to be friends and whatever. And then Nikki poses, turns around and attacks Rhea and punches her a bunch and gets out of the ring. And she just beats up Rhea. I know it was a sneak attack. She didn't see it coming. Does it make Rhea look dumb? I'm going to be positive. I'm going to say no. Because I get pretty upset when a baby face is made to look dumb. Your face should never look dumb. Not your face, your baby face. Because they showed that Rhea was frustrated, but she was a good friend and she was giving her the benefit of the doubt. Because Nikki had never acted this way before. So it was okay for Rhea to get beat up here. And she wasn't laid out. Like, she was just like shaken. So this way she can just stagger and kind of stay down but sell with her face. So Nikki just punched her a bunch of times, and then I think she got pulled off, and then Nikki got out of the ring and mocked her from the ramp and said she was almost a superhero, whatever the hell it was. It's that really stupid thing that she has to say now. But so this way Rhea was able to sit up and hold her jaw and sell and look pissed off and everything else. So that was good, because Nikki laying out Rhea would have really looked stupid than this look. It was just so long. It wasn't terrible. Like, it was different for the two of them. A bit unexpected. I thought they would do the easy route and just have Rhea get frustrated and beat up Nikki, and that would be that. What does this mean for the future? Does old Nikki Cross come back? Especially that because now Karrion Kross isn't there, because even though he didn't want to tell Renee Paquette that he wouldn't get the vaccine. Alrighty. That's news. That's not from me. That's been on Twitter before. Okay, no one got that from me, so that ain't on me. Because now she can be Nikki Cross again. Carrie's not there. Alrighty. I'm assuming obviously they cross paths in the Rumble somehow. Does Rhea toss Nikki and Nikki pulls her out after the fact to keep Rhea from not winning it? I don't know. Did they do one of those? They could. And then they have a reason to have a match that'll be meaningless the next night on Raw that Hulu won't cover because there'll be too many other main event WrestleMania angles going on. I overspeculated. Hey, after this long talking segment, we went right to a long talking segment. Edge does a long video putting over his wife. Well, he does a long promo about his wife, and then they show a long video about his wife, and then his wife shows up, and she's there for a long time. And I won't say this worked, I'll say they got away with it, because Beth is beloved, and Edge is beloved. So it was tolerated. by the people. They weren't booed out of the building. I don't think it was great TV. This is not their best. I just don't think this is their best work, because I feel like the four of them, Edge, Beth, Maurice, and Miz, are saying the exact same things to each other, like 4 or 5 weeks in a row now. It's too. It's not just that there's so much talking. That's bad enough. It's that it's the same words in the same order, in the same action. Anyway, Miz and Maurice interrupt Edge and Beth, and again, I think Maurice's facial expressions and her attitude and her actions during this have been great. They argued, and they reminded us that mixed tag they agreed on last week for the Royal Rumble, still doing it. Does this sound familiar? We covered this in the opening segment. And then Maurice gets mad at The Miz for saying that his wife's gonna kick ass at that match, and she's ready to go. And Maurice walks out. She storms out on The Miz. We started the angle this way. I know it's another lame setup. We started the angle with the thing where Edge was going to spear Maurice, and then she slaps Miz and walks out and yells at him, and it turned out to be a setup the following week. The best segment, I think, of all this was the Maurice and Edge one, where she did the speech, and she did. I felt in that, and Maurice to me, is much better than people give her credit for not acting like she's in a wrestling promo or a wrestling skit segment. I don't know. Pick your word. It doesn't matter. Maurice acts like a hot French lady with 2 kids and an annoying husband she loves anyway for reasons unexplained. That makes sense. If we believe her. I texted a friend of mine. I said, Edge and Beth have no chemistry as a couple. Like, I don't believe them on screen. I just don't buy it. I just don't believe they're married. An Irish guy talks to Austin Theory. I forgot what they said. Grayson Waller is on TV. So AJ Styles wrestles Austin Theory. And this was good to one young great athlete and an older great athlete. Everything AJ Styles does is outstanding. And the Grayson Waller guy from NXT, who should never be on any TV, let alone Raw or NXT, jumps AJ to the DQ. So Austin Theory is not mad about losing a match by DQ. Instead, he takes a selfie of himself and his fallen opponent. And that was that. It was stupid. Did he want to win the match? Because he's supposed to impress Mr. McMahon. Okay. How come no other superstar is burdened with having to impress Mr. McMahon? Why just this one guy? Liv Morgan. I wrote down Liv Morgan and nothing else. So what the hell did I have to say? I think she probably entered or something. I don't know what the hell. I wonder what she did. Maybe she talked. Liv Morgan and Bianca and Doudrop probably entered the ring at this point. The notes are a little wonky. Oh, they did one of these. So Becky Lynch enters the ring again. Becky talks for a long time. Or it's Becky on commentary. Or both. It's a lot of Becky. But Becky's amusing on commentary. Her and Corey and Byron are just taking over the whole thing. And whatever that guy's name is, Smith something, he's got to try to call a match. Sort of, not really anyway. But it gets to be excessive. It's like amusing, but it's excessive. And Corey's got that problem too. They're just picking on Byron, but sometimes Byron hasn't even talked yet. So it's just a waste of time. Becky was very funny here, though, with that said. But Becky enters the ring. I forget if the other 3 in the triple threat hadn't entered yet. Becky enters, and we cut to the Alexa Bliss therapy session sketch. Again, we're doing the thing in this last several months, the trend, where a wrestler enters, and then we cut to a completely different thing after someone enters the ring. So like Edge will enter the ring, and then we'll cut to Austin Theory and McMahon or something like that. Becky enters, we cut to Alexa Bliss, who has nothing to do with Becky Lynch or anyone else right now. It's a purely Alexa thing right now. So it's not like Alexa has something going on with Becky and there's a reason. There's no reason. And she does a comedy sketch where she's crazy, and there's 3 cameras, and her and a fake therapist guy, not the Dr. Harold guy from a few years ago. Geez, it might have been, oh my god, 2012? More than a few years ago. But instead, just some dude, I don't know who he is. Is he an indie guy? Who cares? And she pours water on the floor and throws flowers at the TV and breaks shit. And of course she's not listening. She's not selling for the doctor. But then again, why should she, I guess? He doesn't have to wrestle the match eventually. We've seen it. We've seen Alexa was unchanged. So the whole deal, oh my god, how much crazier? What is she going to be like with the Lily doll destroyed? That was her whole life. Well, now it's been a few months, or SummerSlam, or the one after in September, I forget. One of those two, she wrestled Charlotte. I think it was the one after, the September-ish. Okay, so she loses the thing that gives her all her motivation that she loves more than anything else. How has Alexa Bliss changed? She's exactly the same. Well, okay, well then what the hell was the point of that? Wasted TV time, all thrown down the toilet. But anyway, she does the wacky therapist session to show she's exactly the same, so don't worry about anything. And we have the triple threat with the women. Doudrop and Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair. Am I missing anything else before I could talk about this? No, good. Okay. For a multi-person match, because they are clusters, the fact that it was on last on this show gave it a bigger fight feel, which was great. And everybody worked really hard. Bianca Belair, I swear to Christ, she gets stronger, faster, better all the time. The selling on Bianca's face when she was in a hold. I think Liv had her in a kind of a Rings of Saturn type of thing at one point towards the end. And Bianca's face, I'm like, there's nothing she can't do. Except when she talks, they make her say EST 400 times. I don't know why. Bianca Belair is obsessed with Eastern Standard Time. This was in Philadelphia, which is Eastern Standard Time, and she still did not win, so I don't know why she is the Eastern Standard Time WWE. You would think anytime she fights in that time zone, competes in that time zone, then she would be victorious, but that was not the case. So really, anytime she wrestles in the Eastern Standard Time zone, that should be her hometown. And now it makes more sense because Vince loves people to suffer in their hometown. So anytime Bianca's on the East Coast, she's going to lose now. But she's the EST. Makes no sense. She's going to win on this coast. She'll be the PST. And then Doudrop's going to land there. She'll have the PTSD. Okay, well, you done, Bob? No. So, Doudrop liked one of my tweets today, which I think is really silly and funny. She wrote, "You mad, bro?" at nobody in particular. And I wrote, "No. You didn't do anything to me. That makes zero sense. Why would I be mad? I don't even know you." But anyway, that was a side note. Look at me go on Twitter. Bianca Belair does an amazing 450 splash onto, I think Doudrop was in the middle of pinning Liv. There was one moment. This made me laugh. I actually rewatched it. I hit that 10-second rewind button on Hulu with limited commercial interruption. Doudrop gives a splash to both the other two, and she covers them, and Bianca kicks out, and Liv doesn't, and the referee just goes, everyone kicked out. Let's just keep moving along. And it made me giggle. But, Doudrop wins. I forget how. Oh, Becky Lynch decides to pop up. I think Bianca hit her finish on Liv, and Becky comes out from the booth, and she jumps Bianca and just beats her up and rams her into the steps or whatever the hell. And Doudrop hits a thing on Liv, or maybe she just covered her. I really don't remember. Anyway, to everyone's surprise, everyone thought it would be anyone but Doudrop. Excuse me. Turns out it's Doudrop. Which is fine because it's a new match. Okay, I get it. Very, very good. Here's my issue. It's two heels. Doudrop and Becky is two heels. Seth and Roman is two heels. What are we doing? They're not going to cheer Seth over Roman. They're just going to wait for the finish. They're not going to cheer Doudrop over Becky. They're just going to wait for the finish. And Roman's not going to go short. After the match, they did a thing. Becky, I think, because she mentioned Doudrop was a fellow Celt. I hope that's not a slur of any kind. From there, Becky, I guess they're both from Ireland. I thought Doudrop was Scottish, to be honest with you. Maybe, or are Scottish people also Celts? Let me know in the comments. I have no idea. Or maybe Doudrop is Irish and I was mistaken. I could also be incorrect. Wasn't she British once? There's no way of knowing. Oh boy. Becky goes to hit her finish, her rock bottom manhandle slam, whatever, on Doudrop. And Doudrop stops. And I forget what Doudrop... Did Doudrop throw her around or something? Because Becky doesn't hit the finish on Doudrop. Does Doudrop throw her out of the ring or hit her with a... She didn't hit her with a big move because Becky's not going to take a big slamming move because then she's got to lay there and sell it dead, and she'd rather sell up the ramp and use her face and yell and yada 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 and hold her title up and quickly turn into Charlotte. So I don't know. And Doudrop did something to her. I knew Becky was not going to hit her maneuver on Doudrop the second she set her up for it, because Becky was going as if she was going to use her left arm, and she uses her right arm every time. Most people are right-handed. So I think it had something to do with what side of the ring she was already on, and they couldn't move around because they were already facing the hard camera the way they wanted to. And also Becky has to wiggle out of it and get to the side of the ring closer to the ramp. So when she hooks Doudrop with her left arm, I knew right away, well, she's clearly not about to hit that move. She did not. You can lie to yourselves, and you can lie to each other, but you cannot lie to Bob. And that was Raw. It was a lot of talking. Did Becky even do a long promo beforehand? Probably. I don't even remember. But she was on commentary, so Becky did a lot of talking. Nikki Rhea, a lot of talking. Edge, Miz, Maurice, Beth, talking. Lesnar, Heyman, Lashley, MVP, talking. That's 4. Am I missing one? Oh, Seth Rollins and Big E, a lot of talking. That is 5. Were there any matches besides the triple threat and the tag team? There was AJ and blah 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 blah. Did Omos beat someone up real quick? No. I don't know. Maybe he did. Yeah, anything with 24/7, that never makes Hulu. Don't even try. Don't even try. Oh, and Alexa Bliss had a big long talking thing with a therapist. You could count that as 6 if you want to. That's up to you. I don't think there was any Mr. McMahon on this show. But join us again next week. Thank you very much, Bob Squad, for listening. I appreciate you guys. Join us next week on the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da. Ba-da-ba-da.